is that? Light work with the bass on the track, on my face to the back like I'm taking a slap. I need a drink, but it's straight from the tap, and I'm hating the slack.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy TSG, that's our guy, and welcome back to the match report for Brentford versus Chelsea. In today's video, we're going to be discussing the starting 11 for the team as well as my match prediction. Interesting game with us just returning from the international break, as well as Brentford having a lot to prove coming from the championship. I think it's going to be a really good game. Brentford coming into the game sitting 7th in the league, and I think it's super impressive considering they've just come from the championship. They have a lot to prove. I think this season Ivan Toney's back in the Premier League, and I think he wants to score quite a few goals. He wants to prove he has what it takes to be a top-level Premier League striker. I think Brentford come into the game with a lot of confidence, especially since they just beat West Ham in their last game, which is a pretty good feat considering that they've just come from the championship and they're doing this to the teams that we consider to be the big teams in the league. Chelsea's going to come into this game super hungry. We're sitting first place currently at the top of the league, and I don't think we want to give that up to. I think Chelsea comes into this game as a heavy favorite, which is no surprise considering our placement in the league. But I think that's the kind of thing that Brentford thrives on. I mean, look at them. They're already 7th in the league. Anthony Taylor's coming in. He's going to be the referee, so we already know that spells chaos for the team whenever he's playing. I think, personally, this is going to be a very good game. London derby, so that just adds another added suspense. I think with the team as good as ours, we should not be losing to Brentford. But you never know with how they play. I think they're going to come out very strong. I think we're going to match up with the same formation. With that being said, let's get into the formation. I think personally we're going to match up with the 3-5-2. I think they've been using that a lot this season, and we've been using it a lot as well. Either 3-4-3 or 3-5-2 is what we'll probably end up starting with. It brings out the best in the players. I think 3 at the back system, Thomas Tuchel is really taking control of, and it's going to bring out the best in what we can do and what we can take from this game. Alright, so let's get right into building the starting 11. I think we all know who's going to go in here at the goalkeeper spot. I think it's pretty simple. Kepa's had a lot of good games for us this season. I think he hasn't put a foot wrong in any game that he's played so far, but we all know who the number 1 is, and that's Edouard Mendy. Edouard Mendy has been phenomenal since he's joined the team. Honestly, I think he's been a pretty big bargain. It's crazy because I really didn't think he was going to do all that well whenever he joined the team. I didn't even really know who he was. So I was looking at it from the point of, you know what, I think this is just a player to get in for a season or two just to get Frank Lampard going when he was still the manager. But he turned out to be a phenomenal signing. I think he is an integral part of us winning the Champions League, and I think he's going to be an integral part of what we do for the rest of this season. With that being said, we got to put 3 people in the back to help this guy. I think those 3 people are going to be Trevor Chalobah. There's a lot of injuries in the team right now. I think with Rudiger out, Trevor Chalobah is going to come to the left side and play in Rudiger's favorite position. I think Chalobah has a lot to prove in this game. He's a very young, very hungry player, and he's been doing really well whenever he's played, and I want to see a lot more from this guy. I think in the middle is going to be Andres Christensen. I think he's been very good as well this season. I don't see a lot that he's done wrong. I think he's going to be a future player for Chelsea for sure. I think ever since the Euros, he's been building with tons of confidence coming to this season, ready for anything that the other teams can throw at him. I think he's going to be a super important part of this team for the future. And then, of course, we know who's next. We got to put the captain in there. I think he takes the spot at right center back. I think he's the guy that plays it the best, as Reece James can play it pretty good, but I think he's going to be deployed today. Getting into my next 2 players, my right wing back and my left wing back, I think it's going to be Reece James and Ben Chilwell. Getting a little bit into Reece, I think he's coming back. He missed the whole international break with sprained ankle. I think he's had plenty of time to recover. I think Thomas Tuchel's going to call upon him this game. I think it's going to be a super important game for him. I think he could really help in this game, getting some crosses into the box, providing some assists. Now, a lot of people might be thinking, wow, you picked Ben Chilwell. I think with him, it's a toss-up right now between Marcus Alonso and Ben Chilwell. Marcus Alonso's been pretty decent so far this season. I think in the Juventus game, the Man City game, he kind of got exposed a little bit, but I think other than that, he's been pretty good. Ben Chilwell, on the other hand, hasn't really had a lot of opportunity to shine on the team this season. I think he played really well in his last game out. Also, during the international break, he was buzzing with confidence. I think Thomas Tuchel's going to see that, and he's going to put him in the game, as he's going to be the type of player we need for this game. Now, getting into the midfield, I think there's a lot of players that could start this game in the midfield. I think it makes it very interesting. I love the midfield depth that we have this season. it leaves us with a lot of space, and if we have any injuries, I think we're able to fill those pretty well. My three that I think personally are going to be in the game are going to be Mason Mount, Mateo Kovacic, and Jorginho. I was kind of at a toss up for this one. I was wanting to put N'Golo Kante into the team, but with him just coming back from COVID, I don't know if Thomas Tuchel is necessarily going to call on him right away. I think he wants to give him a little bit more time. I wouldn't be upset at all if he's in this team today. In his place, I put Mateo Kovacic. I think he's been pretty well this season. He's had a couple off games, but overall, I think he's done pretty decent. To partner him, I put Jorginho. Jorginho's been, I mean, I don't even know what I can say about Jorginho. He's been great. I think being in with the shout for the Ballon d'Or has given him a ton of confidence. The stuff he's been doing with Italy, I think, has also given him a ton of confidence, and I think he's going to take that into the season. Now, Mason Mount, I think, undoubtedly was one of our best players last season. I think he's finally getting back into the groove of things. He's taken a while to get back to fitness. I think he's played a lot of games in the last year. I think a lot more than everybody else overall. I think he's going to be ready for this game, and I think he's the type of player that changes the whole game for us. He's one player on our team that I think really can press the other team effectively and get that ball. I think he gets passes to our forwards. I think that definitely leads to goals. I think he's such a great player. Honestly, personally, my favorite player on the team. But with that being said, let's get in. Alright, so there was a couple players I could have picked from for the offense. I think, Romelu Lukaku came back from Belgium early. He got a little injured, so a little injury troubles there. I was concerned to see if Thomas Tuchel was going to actually say if he was going to be fit or not. Surprisingly, I think a lot of players that I assumed were going to be injured and not be available for this game are actually going to be available, which made me super happy. I think with that being said, who's going to be one of the players in the starting 11. Romelu Lukaku is definitely going to be number one for me. I think number two is going to be this guy right here, Timo Verner. I think he played excellent during the international break, scoring 2 goals for Germany. I think he's buzzing with confidence right now, especially in that last game after he scored goals against Southampton. I mean, let alone Southampton isn't a great team, but I think it's a good team for him to score against and get his confidence back. He had a lot go wrong with that in that game. They ruled out a goal. I think it was very very tough game until the last couple minutes of that game, but we pulled through in the end. All right, guys. So this is my starting 11. I think a couple things could be changed. Looking at the screen here, I honestly think with what Thomas Tuchel said at the press conference, Thiago Silva will not be in this team. I think if he was back from Brazil in time, he would definitely be starting this game. I think one of the changes I would also make potentially is Conte coming in for Kovacic. I think Thomas Tuchel might actually go that route instead if Conte is ready to play and he believes in him. Marcus Alonso could come in. Would I personally do that? No, I don't think he should. Kai Havertz might feature. I think he'd be better off the subs bench with the form that Timo's in, and I think Lukaku's hungry for a goal today, so I think we need to give him that opportunity. Alright, so getting into the bench. The players I put on the bench, I put Kepa. While he hasn't been good enough to start this game, I think he's definitely good enough for a bench spot. He's going to provide everything we need him to do if for some reason Edu comes off and is injured. Marcus Alonso, unfortunately, he's been good, but he hasn't been good enough to get a place in my starting team today. I think he's another player that could come off the bench and provide a lot. I really don't think we're going to have any defenders or goalkeepers coming off the bench today. I don't think they're going to be needed unless an injury happens, which hopefully that doesn't happen. I don't want the team to have to deal with any more injuries. Saul, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Ross Barkley. Saul honestly hasn't really impressed me since he's come to the club. I think he has a lot of work to do. I think Thomas Tuchel has faith in him. I don't know if he's been able to prove a lot of people wrong with how he's been playing. There's a reason why Atletico let him go out on a loan. I think this is one of the players that it's not going to be another Mateo Kovacic situation. He came to us. He was fantastic. We brought him from Real. I think with Saul, I really don't see him being that influential for us this season. I don't see him playing in a lot of games other than the cup matches unless we have some serious injuries in the team. Honestly, I think the next 2 players on the bench are players that are definitely going to feature more than him, Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Ross Barkley. I think both of these guys have been phenomenal since they've played. I think Ruben Loftus-Cheek, honestly, I would love for him to start this game. I just don't think it's going to happen with who we have available. Another player, Ross Barkley. I think he's going to definitely come off the subs bench again today. Thomas Tuchel has been relying on this guy a lot. He's been coming through in a lot of games, providing a lot of important passes. I mean, that pass that he sent to Aspian was incredible. I think he's trying to find his best form, and while I don't think he's going to be with Chelsea long term, I think he's going to use this season to really prove how much of an asset he is. So if he has any redeeming chance of staying with the team, this is that season. I honestly think that he's using this so that he can go to another Premier League club next season. The next guy next to him is N'Golo Kante. I mean, everybody knows he is probably the best player in our team in the last, I don't even know how many years. He's been phenomenal. Any time that he's fit, he's come into the game and he's provided so much for us. He's so good defensively. Even moving forward, he's great. He scored a goal for us this season. I think he's one of those players that's like world class, absolutely world class. One of the best players in the world, definitely best midfielder in the world in my opinion. And I think he deserves a lot more praise than he gets. I think he's in the Ballon d'Or race for a reason. Do I think he's going to win it? No, just because of the Messi bias that's going on. But yeah, that's enough about N'Golo Kante. And then the next three, we got Kai Havertz, Callum Hudson-Odoi, and Malang Sarr. Let's start with Malang Sarr. He's an interesting one. I kind of put him in the team because I think he's just to fill a spot. We don't have another defender in the team. I think with Thiago Silva just getting back late, he's not going to be there. Rudiger's injured. I was thinking between him or Mbayambo. Sorry if I mispronounced that. But I think overall Malang Sarr is going to get a spot on the bench. The other two, Kai Havertz and Callum Hudson-Odoi. Now, Callum Hudson-Odoi has played well this season as well. I want to see him feature a lot more. I just think the formation doesn't really suit him. I think if we play him on the left like we did, I think that's a very good position for him, and we need to stop playing him at left wing back, right wing back. I think if we get into the game where we're able to change the formation, we can bring him off the bench. He can provide a lot for us and do a lot of damage to these other teams. Same thing with Kai Havertz. I think we haven't really gotten the best out of Kai this season. I think there's a lot more to come from him and Timo Verner, the two guys that were really questionable for us last season. I think they got a lot to prove, and I think they're going to prove that 100% this season. I think they've been super effective for us, and I think they will continue to be effective for us. I mean, look at the amount of assists that Timo's provided for us. Look at the amount of assists that Kai has provided for us. I think they're both going to turn into players that are going to be here in the future. I know there's a lot of links with Timo and Newcastle right now because of the whole takeover that Newcastle's going through. I truthfully don't think Timo would lose Champions League football to go to Newcastle building a new project unless he seriously doesn't see a future at Chelsea. I think the team that I've picked for the starting lineup today is I think possibly the best team we could field besides N'Golo Kante being on there. I think this team definitely does enough to do the damage to Brentford, and I obviously think that we're going to get a win here. So with that being said, I think this game, I've really been thinking about what could this be. This could be an absolute blowout from our side. But like I said, Anthony Taylor's the referee. I always see something going wrong whenever he's refereeing our games. With that being said, I've been on the fence here between 3-1 or 2-1. I think while Brentford's going to be good and they're definitely going to score a goal, I think Ivan Toney's probably going to get that goal for them, or Mbayambo up front. I think we're going to be too good for them still, no matter what Anthony Taylor could possibly do to us. I think we're still going to be better than them. I think it's going to be a 3-1 from us. I think we're going to see goals from Rom. I think he's going to get back on the team sheet. Back on the score sheet, sorry. I think he needs a goal desperately, and I think he's going to get his goal today. I also think we're going to get a goal from Timo. I think he's buzzing with confidence right now. He has a ton of confidence, and I think he's going to score. He could honestly score quite a few goals in this game. His pace, I think, against their defense is going to be very good. I think he's going to provide a lot for Rom this season and in some one-on-one situations. And the third player that I think is going to score, I'm kind of up in the air on this one as well. I would love to see another Trevor Chalobah goal. I think he's been playing great. I don't think anybody would mind seeing another goal from him. Ultimately, looking at the team, the third person that I think will score, I think it could either be a brace for Rom today, or I think Ruben could come off the bench and definitely provide something. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to go with. All right, so that's it from me. Look forward to a match review after the game is played today. I will be hopping on that right away to get something up for you guys. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like and comment in the comment section. Let me know what I could do better. Of course, this is my first video, so I'm always trying to improve. And if you want to stick around and you want to see what I do and what I turn into from the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I would love to see you guys commenting, subscribing, liking the video. I'd love to get some feedback from you guys. And with that being said, this is TSG, that soccer guy, signing out.
How heavy is that? Light work with the bass on the track on my face to the back.